Vygotsky called his theory, I know it's not a good slide, there's too much text in it, just listen to me, please. Vygotsky called his theory cultural, historical, and instrumental psychology. So I can spend hours or semester going over why he liked to call this. But there's three words here: culture, history, and mediation or instrumental thing, which are important to understand why Vygotsky is such unique. Before Vygotsky, and very well into our time, in North America, a lot of mainstream theories look at education as if it's an individual endeavor, and as if learning happening inside of individual, and if learning is not happening, it's that individual's fault, of course. And the sort of prevailing individualistic stance in theories of psychology and education that traditional for education, and then traditional for understanding of education. Vygotsky was among the first ones and most powerful people in educational theory and psychology to say that, you know what, I actually, when I look at education, there's much more to it than individual abilities, disabilities, or inclinations. There is much more to it than an individual IQ or even EQ. I believe that culture has intimate connection to individual learning, and I also believe that historical part of learning cannot be discarded. But most of all, and the most powerful idea for Vygotsky is that one of mediation. That's what we call instrumental psychology. So I'll talk a little bit about culture history, but I mainly want to focus on the idea of mediation. Vygotsky ideas of mediation is very hard sell in North America, and for a long time I couldn't understand, when I was talking about Vygotsky, why people would not understand me. Finally, it's all boiled down to literally to psycholinguistic nuances. Because when I say mediation in North America or in Vancouver, when I say mediation in North Vancouver, immediate image in your minds is something to, especially when I talk to teachers, something to do with the teacher union and the government and this one guy jumping each other and mediating the processes. So the legal connotation of the word mediation stands in the way to understanding Vygotsky theory, because people who read Vygotsky and Vygotsky say it's important to understand that we are not learning alone, we are being mediated by something. People immediately input the legal understanding of the mediational processes, because it's not America, because we have too many lawyers around, or for some other reason. And once I understood the problem, now I have a way to explain to North Americans in English that mediation Vygotsky used had a very different connotation. Professor Mike Cole actually hinted to this sort of little exercise, which I will facilitate you through. He said, if I think about mediate, the opposite meaning to the word mediate would be something which is immediate, yes? Mediate, immediate, opposite. Could we think about mediate this way? Mediate, opposite, immediate. Another synonymous for immediate would be the word now, here, now, direct. Would that be immediate? Yes, directly. Something happening now, here, directly. So the only connotation for the word mediation Vygotsky input in his theory was the opposite to direct, which is something happening indirectly. Okay? So do you see the circle? Yeah. So in that sense, of course, the people who jumping between government and any unions and negotiations, they're still doing things indirectly, because two groups do not talk directly. So it has some sort of sub meaning for indirect. But what Vygotsky idea for education was that he brings more philosophical idea about mediation. He said nothing in education happens directly. There is no way or no direct link between individual student and the knowledge you want the student to possess or acquire. That you have to look at the educational endeavor, something happening very much indirectly, and that mediational cycle or a triangle, for some reason we look at the triangles all the time, something stands in between your student and knowledge. Yes, and that's something he called mediators or instruments or cultural tools. And he's spent an entire career of his trying to understand how those mediators, something that happening in between, help or enable the learning, enable the knowledge acquirement, or does not help, something which could be so indirectly not helpful that there is no way for a student to acquire the knowledge. So that's mainly why Vygotsky thought of culture and being immediately connected and present in your classrooms, because those tools are culturally created. They're created during the human development in a culture. So, and if you don't regard those tools as important for your immediate classroom, you'll be in big trouble as an instructor, he would say, because you would not understand what's happening in the classroom as a process. I use a lot of examples to explain the idea of tools. So one of the examples I usually I use would be, you get a student from, say, my favorite country is Ethiopia, just because I had a friend in Moscow University from Ethiopia, and he was to become a Russian psychologist. So, and it's an oral culture, so we always compare and contrast two cultures with him all the time. So imagine you have a student from Ethiopia just arrived to Vancouver, and a student is, well, your student's a little bit older, but imagine he's 12 years old, and you're a nice Canadian teacher, and you invited a student and say, can you please, Ibrahim, tell me what's the difference between your school and Ethiopia in our Canadian classroom? And Ibrahim started crying. Yes. So the question is, what did I do wrong? I'm a nice Canadian teacher. I'm very welcoming. Yes. I want him to talk about what he knows, his schools in Ethiopia. But I did something definitely wrong. So why Ibrahim is crying? Vygotsky analysis will come after that, saying you have to analyze the absence or the presence of the cultural tools. Yes, because that was his main core idea in the theory. In North American, teacher usually say, well, he's maybe shy, he's missing his country. Everybody goes for this sort of psychoanalytical Freudian analysis. Yes, something to do with emotions. Yeah, something to do with human needs and emotional attachment. So that would be typical North American analysis. But Vygotsky analysis will focus your attention to very different questioning. The first question you ask, what kind of tools are missing? When I ask the question, can you please tell me what's the difference between Ethiopian school and Canadian school? By asking this question, I already assume there is a set of tools present in Ibrahim's mind, and they're not. Do you want to guess what I did wrong by asking this question? I mean, assuming I have a perfect English accent with no Russian thing, the question is still wrong. That's why Ibrahim is still crying. Want to guess?
Did he have a classroom in Ethiopia? Did he even?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. I mean, that would be the typical assumption. Didn't go to school. No, he did go to school. Yeah, had a classroom. Yeah, was the actual classroom. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, did it have to do with making judgments or observations?
Yeah, it's like in this game, you know, cold, warm, hot. You kind of warm. It's almost there. Yeah. Oh, forbidden. My students know the answer. Sorry.
Is it possible that he doesn't know the answer and he's very sad that he doesn't know the answer?
Well, see, you try to tap into emotional status so immediately.
He's only 12.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So you were kind of close to it. That he doesn't have a tool of comparison, because the tool of comparisons, remember what I asked, what's the difference? Yes? So I immediately assume that the cultural tool of compare and contrast is already present. Yes? And if you know a little bit, like if you have a friend from Ethiopia like I do, and you know a little bit about their culture, they are more... they're paying more attention to similarities versus compare and contrast. So kids in their culture at that age, 10, 12 years old, they're not like kids in Canada when you go to grocery and mom always asks like 2 years old, always surprises me. Would you like this ice cream or this ice cream? Yes. So this is contrasting cultural tools who our kids acquire from the get-go, from the very early on, but it's not necessarily true for any other culture. So when you ask Vygotsky a question, you're pretty much asking yourself the question, what are the tools? You're not asking a question about emotional status of the individual child. You're asking the question about, in your classroom, in your situation, do you have a tool? Is a tool present? And if a tool absent, then of course Ibrahim will continue to cry. Because it's nothing to do with how unfriendly or friendly you are. It's to do with the presence or the absence of mediational tools. That's the main story for Vygotskian theories that become a very interesting enterprise. You cease to be a psychologist or educator who look at individuals solely, yes, and look for individual differences. You become an educator who, like I call myself a spy. But it's not a KGB spy you immediately assume, yes, given my background. It's a cultural tool spy. It's a person who looks at a situation, an educational situation or a cultural situation, and if I'm impressed about something, say something is very successful in their teaching, immediate question, Vygotsky question would be, how do they do it? What kind of tools were present there? The tools are the power, not the individual capacity. So, and it become very interesting. You do become like a Sherlock Holmes, because each situation is different, each classroom is different, so you have to analyze. But Vygotsky gives you this methodology, the way to look in situation, and helps you to analyze it.